friends, welcome to Tori Talks TV. And hey everyone, welcome to our review of Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 6. Episode 6 is called Beyond the Wall, everyone. So, let's start this off with Jon. Okay, Dr. S, what's going on?
Okay, so Jon's trying to give Longclaw, you guys know Longclaw is his Valyrian steel sword.
Yes.
Back to Jorah, because it was like his family.
Oh, yes.
But
The
Jorah,
Mormont.
yes, the Mormont sword.
Mhm.
But Jorah was kind of like ostracized from the family. So Jorah tells him like, no, I wasn't meant to have it. And he says to him, may it serve you well and your children after you. Jorah.
Oh my gosh.
Why are you so sweet?
I love him so much.
Is Jon gonna have children though?
Yep. I said it. Write that down, everyone. All right. So now Arya and Sansa.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite scenes. So Arya and Sansa are talking, and they're talking about how their dad, Ned, used to watch them from up high, that like parapet tower type thing.
Right.
And so there was this one day back when she was little where like all the boys were gone and there was one arrow left in the target. And so she saw it and she like went down and she shot the arrow and like probably did it like 20, maybe 50 times. And she knew she wasn't supposed to, but finally she hit the target. And once she did it, she heard like clapping. And it was her dad.
At the approval
And
of her dad.
I know. And she was like, at that moment, she knew that she wasn't wrong, that the rules were wrong.
Oh.
I know. I really like that scene.
She's pretty wise.
I know. So anyways, it's just really cute little scene.
No, definitely.
And then it also appears that Littlefinger's plan to keep them apart, though, is working. Because, he's doing some shady
He's up
business.
to no good.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
No, I know. So yeah, Arya reads the scroll that she found to Sansa. And she's like, so like, obviously you weren't very loyal to our family. Like, what's up with that? She's like, no, I was a little girl. I had to. I was scared.
And Arya's like, well, Lady Mormont's younger than you. What would she say to you? And Sansa's like, okay.
You're right, little sis.
It's true.
Well, I understand both sides though. Like if you like Arya, you weren't in that situation.
We were there. We saw it.
But you weren't.
Yeah.
I know.
I get it.
It's kind of difficult.
Yes.
Yeah. So now the boys are on a road trip. Right? And there's a super funny exchange between Tormund and the Hound. So like Tormund's basically like, oh, I gotta get back. I have a beauty waiting for me back in Winterfell. And he's like, she's got yellow hair and blue eyes, and she's like the tallest woman I've ever seen. The Hound's like, Brienne of Tarth, and he's like, maybe. And he's like, how do you know her? You know her? And he's like, yeah. She basically looks at you like she wants to carve out your liver and eat it. And he's like, oh, you do know her. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. It's very tense. They're on their way to possibly be killed.
Well, and Tormund doesn't know that, like, Brienne basically left the Hound for dead.
Right, exactly. Oh yeah, he doesn't know that part of it all.
So
but
funny.
The Hound's a little bitter, but oh my gosh, that was so fun. Way to
Yes.
break it up.
So
So then while they're on this little adventure, they see this bear.
with the blue eyes.
I mean, it's dead.
Oh
And it attacks and takes out a few of their men.
It was really vicious.
It's a little scary.
This was like the first time that we saw that like the animals can be turned too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we've seen like the humans,
the people,
and then the giants.
yeah.
But like the bears, whoa.
Wait, you could get animals too?
What?
More to come. So like all of that, like, so Jon and gang are like, they know that probably like the White Walkers are near. So then they happen upon a small group of the undead with one of the like White Walkers, like the leaders.
So it's a little bit okay. Upon second viewing,
yes,
this is our second time viewing.
Yes.
It's a little suspicious. Like, why just this little group of men?
Yeah.
Right?
Are they scouts?
And then they kill the white, like the
one of the leaders,
and then they all die.
Except one.
Except for one. Okay, so then that means like whoever turned. That's the assumption is whichever one turned the other ones.
Right.
If you kill him, then the rest will die.
Whoever turned them. Right. Exactly.
So why did that one survive?
So what? You weren't turned by him?
No.
I don't know.
And why was this one that wasn't turned by him left to survive? And that's the one that they plan to take back to Cersei as evidence.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, so exactly.
Interesting.
It is interesting, and it's something to remember,
Yes.
right? So they're like, we're going to hold him captive, the one that survived, and then we're going to send Gendry back because he is the fastest.
Run!
Send a raven to Dany and let her know, like, we need help. We need backup. So the guys get trapped on this, like, little frozen lake, and here come the dead, the army of the dead, like, coming for them. Like, what's going to happen? And then all of a sudden they start falling into the water because it's like a frozen lake at that point. And so they're like, oh, they can't swim.
They can't swim.
Perfect. This will hold them off for a little while.
That's good to note as well.
It is good to know. Yeah. So you just basically have them like sitting there in the middle of the frozen lake, and then there's just like White Walkers surrounding them.
Yes.
So that's terrifying. So Dany's like, no, my girl, she's going to come. She's going to save us.
Yeah. Tyrion tries to stop her, and she's like, Jorah is with Jon.
Right.
And Jorah has saved my life like a million times.
Right.
Like, who would I be if I did not try to save him? So she like flies off.
You're going to have to go
Dany.
help him out.
All right.
Love you,
Good
Dany.
job.
Yeah. So now, Sansa, by the way, back with Sansa, she's like summoned by Cersei. Like, come to me, little girl. She's like, you know what? I'm going to send Brienne instead. Yes. In my place.
Good call.
Yeah.
Sansa.
No, it was. It was a good call. So then what's going to happen with that? I don't know.
I don't know.
But let's get back to Dany.
Okay.
So Dany is now flying off to save Jon.
So we're like, yay, here she comes. And she's like burning all of these army of the undead, which is great because fire kills them. So that worked out really well until...
in one of the biggest moments, shockers ever. So one of the Night Kings, he sees these dragons taking out his people, and he's like, this has to be stopped. So he takes one of his little frozen spears and he chucks it at one of the flying dragons, and he got one.
Oh my god.
It was so sad. So the dragon goes down, he's bloody, he's bleeding everywhere, and he falls into this like frozen lake. And you're like, well,
there goes
dragon down.
And Dany's face is like, oh my god.
And I think John's face too.
I know, we're like, oh my god, your baby.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't know. Was it a trap?
I mean, why did they let that one get onto that center of the frozen lake with them? I feel like they wanted her to fly over with the dragons. Like, they knew. Because, like, why did they have the chains?
It's totally...
So...
Okay. Totally possible.
So also, like, Jon is like, okay, everyone, like, you need to go.
Yeah, get on the dragon
and fly away.
Yeah.
I will stay behind and, like, fight off as many as I can.
Right. So Jon is therefore left behind while Dany reluctantly leaves without him with the rest of the group. And he's staying there, and, like, you see him, he's, like, the White Walkers, like, throw him into the frozen pond, right? And you're like...
Which, that seems like you're gonna die.
What's gonna happen there? Yeah, so then he, again, makes a comeback, comes out of the frozen lake, and he's like, I mean, he's down for the count. He's like, whatever, I'll give you all I got. And then, again, someone rides by.
Yes. It's Uncle Benjen!
Uncle Benjen to the rescue,
AKA
always.
Cold Hand, I guess.
Cold Hand.
That's what he's known.
Now, remember, he's, like, in this in-between, like, purgatory state between, like, living and dead. Like
he was about to turn, but then he was stopped.
Right, exactly. And
by the children of the forest.
Right, so he probably doesn't really know where to be, so he probably sacrifices himself because he's like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be anyway.
That's what he was meant to do, maybe?
Right.
That's why he was saved, because everyone seems to kind of have a destiny.
Exactly, so he puts him on his horse and he sends Jon off.
Thank God.
To live. I know, so Jon arrives there where Dany is, and the horn blows, and Dany's look of relief on her face is like,
I know.
Says it all.
She already lost her baby, she can't lose Jon too.
Her other baby.
Yes.
So he's like, you know, laying there naked. Scars is showing. I think she's into it. Yep, she sees it. And then, yeah, we're like, okay, so you obviously cared about him. We're happy that he returned. Yes. Let's go back to Sansa. Okay. Let's check in there.
So Sansa's like snooping around Arya's room, and then she finds her faces.
Oh, creepy.
It is creepy.
Right? Yeah.
Oh.
So there's a little bit of like a standoff between the two of them. So there's like, Sansa finds the faces and she's like, what the heck is this? And she's like, oh, I learned it in my training. Which Sansa kind of like laughed off like, oh, you're training?
Like, what are you? What is this? It was very confusing.
You can kind of see the fear in Sansa's face like, you terrify me, little sister. I don't know what happened to you, but I'm a little freaked out by you.
Totally.
And Arya's obviously, like, loving it.
Yeah. She's like, you
afraid.
have no idea. Be very afraid.
Be very afraid. Exactly, yeah. So, what's going to happen with the Stark sisters? I don't know. But back to Dany. So, yes. Dany, now that she has seen what is out there, she agrees to fight alongside Jon to destroy the Night King and his army of the dead.
Now that he has, like, killed her baby, she's like, yeah, I will fight alongside you.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Jon calls her Dany.
He did it. Yeah. Well, he calls her Dany, and she's like, I haven't been called Dany since my first marriage. And basically, she's like flattered by it. And then he's ultimately
like,
says,
queen.
My queen. So he's like, if I could get up right now, I would totally bend my knee for you.
I'm a little, like, not in the best way. So.
A little out of commission right now. Yeah. But basically, he's bending the knee to Dany, which is so sweet.
Yes.
So we're like, okay, great. We got Dany and Jon, and we got them working together.
So we're like, cool. Yeah,
everything's going great.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. So we see the army of the dead, and they got these chains, and they're pulling something, and you're like, what's going on here? And then the dragon is being pulled out of the frozen lake, and at this point, I'm like, wait, don't touch him. Leave him alone. Let him rest in peace. What are you doing? And then the little Night King guy comes over and, like, touches his face. I'm like, don't you touch him. I got very passionate about it. And then all of a sudden, wait, why are they zooming in on his face? What's going on? His eye opens and it's blue. He turned the dragon.
Viserion.
What are you...
So you know what it reminded me of is, remember when they turned the baby? It was like almost exactly the same mirror scene.
But like
the baby,
but this is a dragon.
Yeah.
The dragon is huge.
I had a little bit of a hint when we saw the polar bear.
Oh, did you?
Because I was like, wait, we've never seen an animal before. And then
That's right.
When he went down, and then I was just like...
Did you think?
A little bit. Because they didn't burn the body. Because I remember you have to burn all the bodies.
Oh, that's
So then I was like, well, how are you going to burn the body? It went into the water.
See, I just thought, okay, 3 dragons, 1 dragon down, cool. Like, whatever, she's weakened. But no, I didn't know that the army of the dead were going to use this dragon.
And why did they have the chains, though? And then why did they have that one... They planned the whole thing. They're like one step ahead. Many steps ahead, actually.
What are we going to do? How are we going to fight the army of the dead and the Night King?
What are they going to do with this?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm terrified. Everybody.
I'm very upset.
You guys, hang on tight. It's going to be a bumpy ride. We have one more episode of Season 7 to review, and that is coming up next. We will see you all then. Sit tight. See you then.